Yes, he'd just returned from university just a couple of months before and was settling back into life on the Isle of Man. So we're not quite sure how he contracted it. We think it might have been around about the Manx Grand Prix time. There was a lot of people on the island at that time, and he was working at the grandstand and going out partying and so on. So it wasn't directly university related, but obviously the university cohort is the vulnerable cohort.
Of course, yeah. And a couple of weeks ago, we did speak to you after it was confirmed that the UK would begin this vaccination programme against meningitis B. And you were calling for the island to follow suit. So what do you make now of this announcement from the Isle of Man government?
Well, I'm pleased. It is a big step forward. It's not closing the gap completely. And the UK hasn't been fair. So basically the Isle of Man has just followed the UK as is pretty predictable, I think. The problem with the UK and now the Ireland scheme is that it's only protecting first-year students at university, but there's no difference in the exposure between first year, second year, third year. They're all in that cohort of 18 to 25-year-olds who, aside from infants, are the most prone to contracting meningitis.
So are you saying in that respect then that you don't think it goes far enough?
I think that there was an opportunity, both with the UK government and the Isle of Man government, to close that gap. If they'd simply said, we are now going to vaccinate 18-year-olds going forward, then that would have done two things. It would have protected and brought in current university students. That would have protected the older cohort, but it would also then give the booster that the infants of today are going to need when they get to teenage years. Because I think it's not really understood that the vaccine lasts for around about 5 years. So when a baby's given the vaccine, it's worn off by the time they go to primary school. Their period of most risk is over by that time, but then that surges again when they get into the mid-late teens. So if you're going to protect the infants of today, you have to have a programme that runs every year. And if you're going to protect all the university students of now, you need to do first, second and final years.
So is this something you're going to push further for then? Are you going to speak to government about this again?
Well, I don't think the Isle of Man government is going to go out on a limb. I'd love us to be first to do something. I'd love us to take the lead on something, but it's not our nature. We tend to follow rather than lead. So I think the battle really lies with the UK. And I do liaise closely with Meningitis Research Foundation, who are one of the biggest charities in the UK on this, and they have access to leading experts. And they have put out a release, I think it's today or certainly this week, stating that they're still pushing for it. They're saying it's a great first step, but annual vaccinations and protection for all those under 25-year-olds who are at college now should be part of the scheme right now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, as you said, it is a great first step. And on that note, obviously, you've been campaigning for years. Does it come with any sort of sense of relief or achievement for you, the fact we've got this far?
Yeah, I mean, it's bittersweet, obviously. If somebody had been sitting here 5 years ago doing what I'm doing now, then I'd probably have my youngest son with me. But I can't change that. What I can help to change, or I can advocate for, is change for the future to protect the kids up and coming. I've got a granddaughter now, and she's just she's a little dink of a thing at the moment. But in 17 years' time, she'll be getting ready to go to university, hopefully, and I want the government by then to be providing this vaccination.
Well, what would you say then to those who are listening, or the families of those who are listening who are eligible for this, to encourage them? Because there are some who may have, sort of reservations about the vaccine. What would you say?
Well, I certainly wouldn't have reservations about the vaccine. If you look at the latest statistics from Meningitis Research Foundation, 99% plus of all meningococcal disease in teenagers and early 20-year-olds is meningitis B. And that tells you that the meningitis ACWY, which has become routine, has effectively wiped the disease out with that cohort, which is fantastic. So I'd say if you've got the opportunity to have your youngster vaccinated, grab it straight away. If your child or your young adult child is going to university for their second or third year, I'd encourage you, if the government won't do it, I encourage you to get it done privately. It's about £150, and there are pharmacies on the Isle of Man that can do this. And you saw what happened after the Canterbury outbreak. Thousands and thousands of people were prepared to pay to get this protection. And we're talking about, you've got to bear in mind that meningitis B has a 7% fatality rate. So if you catch it, you've got a 1 in 14 chance of dying from it, which is an enormous mortality rate. So for the sake of £150, if I'd known back then what I know now, there was no information about this at the time. We were just told that he'd had all his vaccinations. But if I'd known, I would have done it in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm. Understandably. So, well, listen, thank you so much for talking to us, Brett. Before you go, we should mention, obviously, the charity Lucas Aid that you set up in Lucas's name. How are things going with that? What is the latest and what have you got coming up this year?
Oh, it's been going really well. The first 2 years of the charity were mostly about fundraising. We weren't really giving as much money away as we'd hoped, but we were certainly generating income faster than we'd anticipated. So that's been great. We've taken a bit of a pause in the big fundraising stuff like the Kilimanjaros and marathons and things, but we have a steady income coming in from corporates and from other events. King William's College are doing one on Friday. So that's keeping the income in good shape. Last few months we've started to see good worthy causes coming through, cases coming through, and we are starting to make a difference in people's lives now, which is great. Focused on the young people, focused on young people in adversity, really, whether that's disability or financial hardship or anything like that, mental health, anything that we can do to help young people fulfil their potential. That's what we're focused on.
Which is what Lucas was very much something
Indeed.
that he did when he was here, didn't he? Yeah.
He did.
Thank you for making it to the end of the Manx Radio newscast. You are obviously someone with exquisite taste. May I politely suggest you might want to subscribe to this and a wide range of Manx Radio podcasts at your favourite podcast provider so our best bits will magically appear on your smartphone. Thank you.